¿A dónde está papi? 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 ¿A dónde está papi?
Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Wednesday stream. I hope everyone's having an awesome Wednesday morning. Howdy, everybody. Alio with the 10 biddies. Mayhem Hippie with the tier 1 sub for 6 months. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Michael R. Hessler, how's it going? Heat, how's it going? Welcome, everybody. Cosmic Seeking, welcome. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Wow, 225. Sheesh. Sorry, 2225. Don't worry, folks. We'll try to get as much done in the time that we have. How's it going, everybody? Tired, same. $100% same. Today's complicated and I wish it was over. Well, I mean, for me, it's done. Today's done. Tomorrow's a new battle. Trump freaks out on Truth Social. We'll see if we can get some of that. I think we have a article about this. The Trump documents exposure is big news. Maybe is big. It's a maybe. I don't know how that will affect the investigation, or we'll see. All right, folks. Let's get this show on the road. We have limited time today. I do have to get going just about 7 o'clock-ish. I think they have enough to indict Trump. Well, we'll see. We will see. If it happens, then we'll be there to report it. That's for sure. The Republicans are refusing to pay Trump's bills. That's hilarious. That's okay. It's only 3:30. True. For you, maybe. I think it's gonna go. I think this is going to go to other Trump properties too. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. But if there's an indictment, we'll definitely see. All right, folks, we gotta get this show on the road. Okay, I guess we'll start with this one. Politico reported on Tuesday that as of that original deal, if Trump started another party, the RNC would stop paying its legal bills. That decision has ended. The report explained that Trump hired Chris Case, a former Florida Solicitor General, to represent him in the FBI search case. It was announced on Tuesday. Thus far, Trump has suffered with a legal team that is moving quickly to appear on television, but not filing a legal defense for their client. Christina Bobb may be under her own legal problems after signing court documents saying that Trump had already turned over all the documents, and that turned out to be false. Yeesh. That's funny. Oh, that's A-okay by me. Alright, so let's start with this one. I think this one's funny, right? Let's start off on a good note. Let's start off on a funny note. Kind of.
Conservatives. I like debating conservatives. I never find a rude. I would say this. I like conservatives. I like hanging out with conservatives. I like debating conservatives. I never find a rude conservative. It's almost...
That's very interesting. Hey, can anybody find me a link to when the last time Rafe Dubin debated a conservative? Don't worry. I'll wait.
Impossible to find. I get nothing but love from conservatives. I spoke, you know this, I spoke at Liberty University, the largest evangelical conservative Christian college in America.
Dave Rubin. I don't even know who that, I don't even know who that is. It's okay. It's better if you don't.
I spoke in front of 14,000 people. You've done the exact same gig. These people know my views. They know I'm married to a man. I got a standing ovation. They couldn't have been
Pause
nicer.
it for
I
one
wandered
second.
around
Pause
campus.
it for 1 second. And go back a little bit so that we can hear this. Go back just a little bit, but just contemplate the idea that there's never been a rude conservative.
Yeah, go speak to those Liberty students' parents and see how you're received in that giant auditorium.
January
True.
6th was a little rude.
I mean,
Speak to Jerry Falwell himself.
I don't know. I remember when you had Republicans yelling at Obama during.
Oops,
the
I didn't mean to
State of the
sound-
Union.
he's just a
Liar.
bad guy.
Of course they're rude. People are rude regardless of what their ideology is.
I don't know. I don't think that was...
I also wonder
I don't think that was like...
if Dave mentioned the
homophobic.
fact that he's a parent of 2 children. Am I misremembering?
Beck was kind of like,
They know
Anyways.
my views. They know I'm married to a man. I got a standing ovation. They couldn't have been nicer. I wandered around campus for a couple hours. People coming up to me saying all sorts of nice
Yeah,
things.
he is a bad
By the way,
guy.
some people did come up to me and say, I'm praying for you. And I don't know if they meant that I'm praying for you, meaning I'm trying to pray the gay away, or I'm just praying like your continued success. Or
What? Wait, where's he getting this from? I'm praying for you. I'm praying for you can mean many different things. Okay? How did you interpret that? Unless they were actually being very homophobic to him.
or whatever, but it would almost be irrelevant to me. Even if someone,
Yeah,
if someone,
I'm praying the gay away, well, that's not offensive. If they're not saying,
That's not offensive. Listen, I just don't want your existence and to be a thing, dude. So I'm literally praying in my head to the to the most powerful force that I can think of, so that you don't exist. What? I'm praying he just goes away. True. But yeah, what Candace is trying to slide in there is actually incredibly homophobic. What she's implying here is that trying to pray the gay away is okay. It's not offensive. And the reason for that is because, well, it's not. But the reality is, what she actually means is, well, she would not like for people like him to exist. That's what it is. That's what that means. I'm going to pray to the most powerful force that I can think of, so that you don't exist. Your very essence doesn't exist. That's what that means.
I'm gonna, come
me over the
club you over
head.
the head.
Yeah.
We're gonna put you somewhere you shouldn't be.
Yeah.
I'm praying for you.
And
it's
by the way,
okay, I can deal with that.
Someone that comes up to you with a smile on their face and says a bunch of nice things and then says, "And I'm praying for you."
Right.
That's actually a lot nicer
nice.
than a progressive
Well, that's way different than praying the gay away.
who will scream all day how much they love gay people and then will unleash endless hate on me because I don't bow to them. So,
All
you know,
right,
this is where
okay, this is
idea
hold on,
of-
hold on.
With Roe v. Wade overturned.
This guy. Do we need to play the clip where Ben Shapiro I'm just proving his point. Well, he does suck though. Like, that's the problem. Like, he's so completely, he must be doing this on purpose, right? I mean, like, unless he's just this idiotic, like, he must be doing this on purpose. Like, did he forget how Ben Shapiro treated him? Did he forget how Ben Shapiro literally told him to his face, like, yeah, I'm not doing any, like, gay weddings or gay parties or gay anything, like, stay over there. He did that literally to his face.
That part in and of itself is just really stunning. Can you imagine what would happen if someone publicly said, "I am praying that your Christianity goes away"? I am praying to God that you see that you have been deluded by the devil. That's
Yeah, like that's yeah, I get where Sam's going. Anna Kasparian mentioned how how he used to love living in West Hollywood and going to gay prides and going to pride parades. Yeah, I mean, yeah, but exactly. No one's bashing him because he's gay. They're bashing him because his viewpoints are stupid and have no real evidence. Yeah, that's the reason why people are dunking on him.
That's what's going on. That's what they're saying. But they're saying it with a smile.
And Candace Owens says, but just declares, but that's not offensive to the gay man, right? What if someone came up to Candace Owens and said, "I'm praying for you to no longer be black"? Because I don't agree with that anymore. Like,
I'm just praying that you stay with your own people.
Yeah.
It's not offensive.
Yeah, and you have to do it with a smile on your face.
It's prayer.
It's
like,
prayer.
what do you-
But I also like the fact that Ruben actually
Yeah, it's
is
the
wondering, like,
hypocrisy.
if they're praying for me to have continued
Just-
success,
Yeah.
or if it's to pray the gay away. Really, you might want to have asked that question. Like, you're so interested in ideas. That's an interesting idea.
It doesn't matter actually anymore. Ideas, it's just the thought that counts.
And then I love, like, he's setting it up like they could be praying for me to not, to come out and realize that
Yeah.
the love of my life, the co-parent I'm hoping to have with my children, that is a complete delusion that the devil has imposed upon me. And I'm, my entire life, and look, your kids and your husband or your wife, your partner shouldn't be your entire life, but it's a big portion of your life. I don't know what the number is, 50%, 75%, 45%.
All right, get back to Dave Rubin.
I'm praying for you.
And
it's
by
like,
the way,
okay, I can deal with that.
Someone that comes up to you with a smile on their face and says a bunch of nice things. and
Yeah,
then
he's
says,
hiding
"I'm
behind
praying
the
for you."
gay tag, and
That's
it's
actually
sickening.
a
How
lot
can you claim
nicer
to be
than-
a part of this community while supporting people that are trying to eradicate it? I mean, he makes money off it, essentially, if you really want to get down to it. He makes money off it, and he's wealthy, so he's most likely going to be fine. At least it provides some type of insulation, so he doesn't have to really be worried about anything. He just, whatever, as long as it makes him money. Well, he's not really part of the community. He happens to be a gay man, but the money is better on the other side. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm getting at. That's exactly what I'm getting at. He's getting a lot of money, and that partially insulates him. And yeah, that's basically it.
Than a progressive who will scream all day how much they love gay people and then will unleash endless hate on me because I don't bow to them. So,
Okay,
this-
pause it, right? Because it's not because you don't bow to the left. It's because of what you advocate for,
You bow to
which
bigots.
is bigotry codified into law against gay people, and that's the room that you're in. That's why people are a little mad at you, Dave, not because you're gay.
But what's worse about what he just said is, you think about
Oh, I can think about it,
his
the American Dad
entire
episode.
shtick for years.
With gay Republicans? No,
identity
I don't watch American Dad.
And the definition of identity politics is,
and remember-
I'm going to vote for that person. I'm a woman. I'm going to vote for that person because they're a woman, period. End of story. I'm going to vote for that black person because they're a black person. End of story. I mean, it's a bastardization of what identity politics is, but that is the way that they understood it. And that is what he built his career on, a lamentation that the people on the left are so driven by identity politics. But here, he does two things. He admits that they are not driven by mindless identity politics. It has to do with what you say and what you advocate, but that he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That he expects that because he's gay, he should naturally have a progressive constituency. So the guy who'd been railing for his entire career against identity politics is upset
Yeah.
because the identity politics that he has always imparted to the left exists only in him.
Yep.
And it's not being honored, according to him.
Dave.
Yeah, so
It's respecting him.
Totally.
yeah, so yeah, it's the classic, right? Every accusation is a confession. Every accusation is a confession.
than a progressive who will scream all day how much they love gay people and then will unleash endless hate on me because I don't bow to them. So, this is where this idea of tolerance and all of these things, I think broadly speaking, conservatives have done a really nice job in the last couple of years of cleaning up whatever those bad parts are. The point is that
Wait, hold on. Whatever those bad parts are, I've got a couple of questions. I've got a couple of questions, starting with what bad parts do you think that they cleaned up? What bad parts do you think that they cleaned up? The anti-gay part? Do we need to go back to the article where we have a Republican GOP candidate completely fine with the idea of stoning gay people because they're gay and because their mere existence is an affront to God, so therefore the Bible excuses that and therefore he's okay with that? Do we need to go back? That is a GOP candidate. That is a Republican candidate, a conservative who is running for a GOP nomination, I believe, or an actual candidate. I forget which one. Are we talking about that part? Because I don't know. It seems like they haven't.
Conservatives still often, I think, should take the libertarian approach on it, be okay with a state-by-state situation, but there's still a certain layer of conservatives.
That's not libertarian. That is neo-Confederate. That is, let's return to the Confederacy. That has nothing to do with libertarianism. And I say this only as much as I think libertarianism is bunk. The few precepts that I appreciate about libertarianism is in certain areas, specifically about civil liberties, which is really a lot of libertarians don't really care about in this country anyways.
Yeah.
But he is talking about neo-Confederism. There is no libertarian ideology that says states are a better source of infringing upon your fundamental rights.
Or Dave,
than
don't talk about
federal
it on your
governments.
channel.
It's
I'm not
absurd.
sure what that means.
Like, and if that's the case, it's like, well, it's about locality. Well, then is like, why not mandate that states are smaller? Is a state with fewer people necessarily actually more oppressive or less oppressive? I don't understand. Like, it's complete bunk. He has no idea what he's talking about.
Yeah, I mean, libertarians would say the state shouldn't have anything to say regarding who you sleep with and how we recognize this. It shouldn't be recognized at all. It should be not there.
But where did neo-Confederism, like, what was the fundamental element that defined Confederates?
Sovereign states.
What was it? Was it about rules about gay marriage? Was it we want to develop a more equitable tax system, and so we're going to break away? What I'm trying to think what it was that was the bedrock of the Confederate.
Drawing a blank.
It's just drawing a blank. Continue.
Conservatives
mystery,
still
folks.
often, I think, should take the libertarian approach on it. Be okay with the state.
It's a mystery, folks. Somebody get the Scooby-Doo squad on this shit. Don't talk about it on the sexual politics. I have no idea what that even means. No idea. Ding, ding, ding.
State by state situation, but there's still a certain layer of conservatives that take a sort of more moral position on it,
you know what?
and that it's going to infect society. Saying, and by the way, I'm not trying to change those people's opinions. That's the part that I really want to tell you. I'm not here to do that.
What? Oh my God! There's a subsection of conservatives, that think that there's a moral argument against my existence, but that's okay. I'm not trying to change their mind. What? Okay.
Change that. Yeah, it's funny. I had
just
a
want to
debate
carve
with,
out room on the same side.
I'm not here to change anybody's opinion that speaking as Dave Rubin, that I am a cancer on society.
Yeah, exactly. Like Sam's just restating what I'm saying. It's like, yeah, listen, I understand that there's a subsect of conservatives, and more than we'd like to admit. There's a strong contingency within conservatives that would like people like Dave Rubin to not exist. But you know what? It's okay, because Dave Rubin isn't here to change them. Dave Rubin is here for the money. That's right, Pirate Ninja. At least he's honest. Well, inadvertently honest. He doesn't need to change their mind on what they believe. He just needs to protect the community to be able to live with the same rights and protection as these conservatives. Yeah, ideally, but you know.
I'm a
Or
groomer.
that my husband is a cancer on society, or that my children are born of cancer on society.
And are not being raised in an ideal way because they do not have the touch of a
That's
mother.
not what I'm here for.
What
is he here for?
Well, he's here to demonstrate that he has never, understood like subtext or had a conversation with somebody where they're saying something where it's entirely passive aggressive. Like, that's what I'm praying for you is. It's conservatives' passive aggression saying like, I don't like you and I disagree with you, so I'm gonna pray for you when I get home.
I wonder what Dave Rubin, I would love to ask him what he's here for. I'm not here in any way to convince people that I'm not a cancer on society.
Just here to coalition with those people.
I'm here just a coalition to build a what? A better cancerous society? I don't know. But let me just say this. I know that we pick on Dave Rubin. We mock him because we think he's dim.
Really putting the Rube in Ruben today.
Exactly. But let me just say this in all honesty. Dave, I'm praying for you. I'm sorry. I'm praying for you.
Wait.
Really,
It's a smile. You got to smile while you do it. That's right.
that you see the light.
Yeah, but in the gay way type, or is it
No,
wish for my success type
no,
way?
I'm not.
Oh my god. More like praying you'll change your entire worldview to exactly match mine. Yep. How's it going, Maple Leaf Dragon? I have no idea what that means. Like Enye, like Spanish? Like the Spanish? What are you on about? You asked me this yesterday.
Just praying for you.
You want to clarify?
I've got to get to class.
Sorry. Jerry Falwell's calling me.
Exactly.
Logging out of work. Nice. Anyways, that was a good meme. Excellent stuff. I wonder if he'll accept I wonder if he'll accept Sam Cedar now, because he said that he's going to pray for him with a smile on his face. He did the whole smile and everything. Sometimes that's what bless your heart means. Yeah. Exactly. That's exactly what it is. I was thinking the exact same thing. All right, good memes. At least he's not losing his religion. Oh man. I don't even know if he's religious. I don't think he's religious. Maybe he is, or I don't know. It's hard to keep track. Dave will morph into whatever he needs to. Oh, I see. Bless your heart means a lot of things, but mostly it gets passive-aggressively weaponized. Yep, but that's him in the corner. That's him in the spotlight. Oh, man. R.E.M., I want to say? No. That's not who made that song, right? R.E.M., yeah, okay, good. Just making sure. I had to double check. I had to fact check myself there. Alright. Let's get into some of these headlines. I couldn't help myself. That's funny. South Carolina House passes near total ban of abortion with new limited exceptions for rape and incest. The South Carolina House of Representatives passed on Wednesday, today, legislation that would ban nearly all abortions at every stage of pregnancy, with the exceptions including cases of rape or incest. So, what happens with... Okay, I see. Okay. The House passed the legislation by a vote of 67 to 35 on Wednesday morning after roughly 2 hours of debate, with the majority of speeches coming from Democrats speaking against the bill. The state will reconvene after Labor Day to take up the bill. The near total ban was amended Tuesday night to add an exception in the case of rape and incest, up to 12 weeks of conception, with the requirements to report to law enforcement. So again, This is like almost null. First of all, it has to be, you have a time frame up to 12 weeks of conception, and then you have to report this to law enforcement. Holy yikes. That amendment, a major point of contention among Republicans. Gee, I wonder why. I wonder why something like rape and incest would be such a point of contention to Republicans. Gee, I wonder. What could possibly be such a point of contention in making exceptions for rape and incest? Big self-report. Adopted by a vote in a hasty reconsideration of the original vote, bill which had been rejected by the House earlier in the night. Along with the rape and incest exceptions, House Bill 5399 would allow exceptions in order to prevent the death of a pregnant... Oh, thank you. Wow, awesome. Wait a second to put the health and life of the pregnant person on the back burner. Because their boy children might actually be charged for rape. Yeah, or they're just really into that. Maybe it's, you know, again, all the groomer allegations. Remember, every accusation is a confession. Maybe that's where I'm getting at. This bill is just gonna end up eat up real estate value in the purple states. Oh, this bill is gonna up real estate value in the purple states. Gotcha. You think South Carolina is purple? Maybe. To prevent death of the pregnant person, substantial risk of death for the pregnant woman because of a physical condition. Well, what physical condition? How does that... When do you cross that line? Substantial physical impairment of a major bodily function of the pregnant woman. The bill lists several medical conditions it deems pose a risk to the pregnant person, including a molar pregnancy, ectopic pregnancy, severe preeclampsia, and a miscarriage. North Carolina, okay. Under the bill, those who violate the law could face a felony charge punishable by a $10,000 fine and up to 2 years in prison. Abortion providers could also have their licenses revoked. The pregnant woman who underwent an abortion that violates the bill's provision, the parent or guardian of the pregnant woman if they are a minor, or state attorneys with proper jurisdiction could also pursue legal action against the abortion provider and be able to obtain statutory damages of $10,000. This is kind of like a mirror of the Texas law. If enacted, the bill would, like a copycat, I guess. The bill would also set conception at the start date for biological father's child support payment responsibilities. Oh my god. Listen, that was supposed to be a meme, okay? Because obviously the ridiculousness of life beginning at conception. I mean, like, what happens if there's a miscarriage that was no fault, no planned? It wasn't even planned, because miscarriages happen a lot. So let's say you actually want a child, and a miscarriage happens. You want to keep this child. Father left, right? They left, and now what? They're eligible. They need to start paying you child support. The moment of conception, you have to like go retroactive. And then what happens when a miscarriage happens? Do they get that money back, or what? Do they get that money back, or do they just like, damn? All right. I mean, holy shit. I don't know how this is gonna work out. This was supposed to be a meme. The payments would stop. Yeah, the payments would stop, but what happens to all the payments that you made? Does the other person just get to keep them, or what? The fetus 6 months old in miscarriages, do they still have to pay for the 6 months? Yeah, they should. According to this law, they should. But what happens after the fact is what I'm asking. So, like, let's say, yeah, they started conception. The conception date is going to be, I don't know, February. So all payments from February going forward need to be done, but there's a miscarriage in the 6 months, like Wolf Glenn said. Now what? Now what? Earlier Tuesday, the Republican-controlled state house rejected the original version of the bill without exceptions for rape or incest because, well, they're in favor of that. Conservative Republicans spent the afternoon voting down amendments originally proposed by their GOP colleagues that would have added exceptions for rape, incest, and fetal anomalies, as well as clarified language on the meaning of banning abortion from the moment of conception. They don't care. I think this is great. Why not hold more men responsible for the pregnancy? Do you realize how much stuff you buy before the baby is even born? Oh yeah, I just think that, like, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense because, like, what happens with the with the money, like, after the fact, right? If there's a miscarriage. Democrats, in an apparent strategy to force Republicans to record votes on near total ban without exceptions or rape or incest, often join more conservative Republican members in killing these amendments. However, after H. 5399 failed by a vote of 47 to 55, members voted to reconsider and added the exception for rape and incest up to 12 weeks with reporting requirements. The amended version passed 67 to 38. I'm glad I'm 61 and married for 40 years. The worst that was happened back when I was single was herpes. I'm pretty sure that's not the worst thing. But okay. However, yes, the amendment version passed by 67 to 38. The bill's advancement comes as South Carolina Supreme Court has temporarily blocked the state's 6-week abortion ban from being enforced. The law bans abortions once what it called a, quote, fetal heartbeat is detected, which again, this is a misnomer. There's no such thing as 6 weeks, okay? Which can be early as 4 weeks and more commonly 6 weeks into pregnancy, with exceptions for fetal anomalies and risk to the life of the mother, or in some case of rape or incest. The term fetal heartbeat is controversial because a heart with chambers does not exist until the end week of 10th week of gestation. The American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists say that medically accurate terms are embryonic cardiac activity prior to 8 weeks of gestation and fetal cardiac activity after 8 weeks of gestation. In practice, many people don't even realize they're pregnant at a 6-week point, which is, on purpose. I'm 38 and herpes was the worst thing that could happen. Maybe AIDS. Not getting a felony for a decision is not anyone's business. That's a good point. Way to go, Republicans. Alright, let's take a look at this opinion piece and see if we can extrapolate something here. Two months after the fall of Roe v. Wade, abortion has been banned or severely restricted in at least 14 states, energizing leaders of the anti-abortion movement, but also activating voters who are opposed to many of these measures. With so much at stake in the next few election cycles, and women's lives hanging in the balance, both sides of this fight are strategizing their next move. For the anti-abortion movement, the emerging plan is an all-out fight for fetal personhood. In many ways, this is no surprise since the 1960s, the movement's ultimate goal has been to secure legal protections for fetuses and embryos despite the harm that could be done to health and livelihoods of pregnant women. Right, because they don't see that person as a person, right? They don't see the woman as a person. That's fundamentally what it is. They don't see women as people. The recognition of fetal personhood nationwide could mean a total ban on abortion for everyone in the US, and if an increasingly sophisticated minority of anti-abortion extremists have their way, many more women could face criminal charges for ending their pregnancies. Right. And furthermore, like, you can't ascribe personhood to something that isn't a person, right? And furthermore, it still does not justify you relinquishing your bodily autonomy, right? Even if in the worst case scenario, a zygote or a fetus gains personhood, you do not have to sustain anyone without your consent. In an ideal world that respects bodily autonomy, your body cannot be used or forced or compelled by the state to sustain anybody else. That's just not how it works. At 38, do you realize how dangerous for me to be carried to term? The only real 100% safety measure I can take is to have my uterus ripped out of my body. Yeah, I completely understand that. It's not a joke. It's not a joke. Like, it's not hyperbolic to say that there are lives at stake. That's not a hyperbolic statement. So yeah, I completely understand. It's ridiculous. And the fact that they want to give personhood to a clump of cells, to a fetus, still does not justify forcing essentially forcing people to forfeit bodily autonomy. It just doesn't justify it, regardless. Like, even if we're talking about like actual grown human beings, I do not have to give up my bodily autonomy to sustain anybody. Even in death, I have the rights to my body, and I can say, you know what? I don't want my body being used to sustain anybody. I want my organs to stay right where they are, and it doesn't matter how many people could, need them, or how many people, or how many people I could save. I'm under no obligation to give up my bodily autonomy. Same concept. The same reason why you can't be compelled to donate blood, even if it's your own family. You can't be compelled. That's your body. A group of cells that cannot live without me has more rights than I would. Yeah, if that ends up manifesting itself, yes, that you would be correct, and that's terrifying. That's terrifying. Hey, James Napper, I'm looking forward to Ziegler's book arriving very soon. $1 for Life. Nice. I need to get on that. I need to get on a lot of books. I've been really slacking. I've got no time. If a fetus gets personhood, we'll have to figure out an AR-15, how to get an AR-15 in there so that the little Americans can defend themselves. True. That's very true. My girlfriend actually argues from a self-defense point. Abortion is just self-defense. I'm sure you've covered the Republicans that is now backtracking on abortion bans. Oh, that video? It was one guy, wasn't it? Oh, shoot. Was it the one person? It was like a viral video, right? Like a viral moment or something. I was quite surprised at the part talking about adding unborn fetuses, into a national census. I guess it's an administrative given if they did go with personhood, but it makes it feel all the more real. Yeah, but how would that even work? What if there's like a miscarriage, right? Or what if there's like a abnormality that happens? Yeah, I got the point. What happens when an abnormality exists and the fetus dies? How do we keep track and how do we constantly update? Because this happens a lot. Like miscarriages happen a lot. So who's gonna upkeep this? How do we? I thought this was the party of small government. Why are we adding like umpteenth amount of layers of bureaucracy, I guess, to make this work? None of this makes sense. Yeah, okay, so I think I know what you're talking about, Mayhem Hippie. Yeah, we covered it. We covered it, and yeah, he can unequivocally go F himself. People have been talking about this for years and years and years now. He like now because of one story that kind of got near and dear to you, now you're changing your mind. Like, get effed. The damage is done. What about the lady in Texas that was in the HOV lane saying it should count as she's pregnant? Yeah, that's a good one. They need babies for the war machine to keep the poverty-stricken workforce going. True. I wonder what the resolution was to that case, Pirate Ninja. I haven't heard any updates about it. What's striking about this post-Roe push is the speed with what even moderate anti-abortion actors have embraced a punitive interpretation of fetal personhood, despite clear political headwinds. Even if this fight is for fetal personhood doesn't result in a full nationwide abortion ban, it could lead to personhood becoming more accepted at the state level and in the courts, pitting the interests of the fetus and women against each other and diminishing legal equality for women. Right, again, these folks do not believe that women are people. That's kind of like the core fundamental thing here. They don't care and they're not interested in hedging the rights of a woman and the rights of the fetus, because to them, women aren't people, okay? That's it. Last I heard, the ticket was thrown out. Was it thrown out because because that argument like worked, or was it thrown out just because like the officer didn't show up or something like that? Because like that would be a significant that would be a good meme, right? That her argument actually works. Since the Dobbs versus Jackson Women Health Organization decision came down in late June, a Georgia law has gone into effect defining a natural person as any human being, including an unborn child. But if it's unborn, then it's by definition not a child. It's unborn. I will look. Yeah, let me know if you find something. And giving a $3,000 tax break for pregnancies after about 6 weeks. I heard we covered this section. It just makes no sense. Like, how do we know? And furthermore, does each $3,000 tax break happen for every fetus or every, I guess, zygote that makes it to 6 weeks? What if they get, I don't know, miscarried? Do you have to pay that money back? Do you not get that incentive? Like, what's the deal here? The Arizona statute defines fetal rights from conception as being fought in court. Leading anti-abortion groups are developing plans for federal abortion ban that could include recognition of fetal personhood, and prominent anti-abortion commentators have said that it's not a far leap from Dobbs to constitutional personhood. The so-called abortion abolitionists who favor punishing pregnant patients for abortion argue that full recognition of personhood requires the same legal penalty as murdering or being an accomplice to the murder of a born human being, which is the end goal, right? Because it's about punishment. Georgia, the last slave state, ironically. Americans United for Life, long viewed as one of the movement's more pragmatic organizations, is pushing a federal fetal personhood strategy too. The group's so-called Lincoln proposal is a suggested executive order that would interpret the 14th Amendment safeguard of due process and equal protection to extend all human beings born and not yet born. Yeah, this is massively dangerous. Under this plan, fetuses would be counted in the census of the Department of Justice, and the Department of Justice would investigate laws or policies that deprive preborn person of due process or law or equal protection of law. I have no idea how this is going to play out or like the legal ramifications of this. Oh, Lord. Unfreaking believable. Sometimes I wonder if the people ardently advocating this at government levels actually believe this, since it instead reminds you of a little bit about the play The Crucible, where people just get caught up in the motion of the crowd, and to stay relevant, they just continually up the stakes to avoid being called out themselves for being, quote, moderate. Yeah, it does feel like that. It really does feel like that. It's certainly the case with the article we covered on the evangelical factionism, and it's likely happening in this area too. Kids eat free while accompanied by a parent. Pregnant people should order from the kids menu now. Yeah, sure. Why not? I guess. Why not? I guess this lady got 2 tickets and one was dismissed and posted an article in the Discord. Gotcha. I'm super curious if it was thrown out on the grounds that she indeed had 2 people, or was it just thrown out because the cop didn't show up? I don't know. I'm gonna check it out in a second. Come on, Discord. It is important to prepare for the possibility that these proposals will continue to flourish, in part by understanding the history of the fetal personhood movement. Personhood has appealed to a divided anti-abortion movement for over 50 years. For those who are sympathetic to the civil rights movement of people of color or the fight for women's equality, such arguments position the anti-abortion movement as a similar cause. Oh, Lord. For conservatives skeptical of civil rights movement, which are conservatives, of course, personhood offered something too. The claim that abortion was a far worse form of discrimination than anything suffered. What? What is this argument? Personhood offered something too. The claim that abortion was a far worse form of discrimination than anything suffered by women and people of color. It suggested that what really mattered when it came to equality under the law was not a long history of subordination like that experienced by people of color, but physical vulnerability and dependence. Holy yikes. This is wild. So the officer still gave her a ticket again. According to my attorney, they will likely keep on ticketing pregnant women until the laws change, which won't happen until after the election season is over. Yeah, so we don't know. After Roe v. Wade in the 1970s, anti-abortion leaders rallied around a constitutional amendment that would have codified fetal personhood and banned abortion nationwide, but it never received much traction, and profound unanswered questions remained about how anyone would enforce personhood protections, even if they passed. Would states have to do anything to help people who are pregnant in the name of honoring fetal rights? Did passing a personhood amendment require states to treat abortion as murder? Some discussed the solution of legal guardians for fetuses who could prevent abortions from taking place. After a distinctively punitive version of personhood took precedence in the 1980s, forged when anti-abortion movements aligned with a Republican Party focused on tough-on-crime agenda. It became clear that a federal fetal personhood legislation banning abortion was not going to succeed anytime soon. So personhood arguments went partly underground. Anti-abortion groups developed an approach to personhood that sought to define a fetus as a person in laws unrelated to abortion, including fetal homicide and child abuse laws. In the late 2000s and early 2010s, they saw a handful of state constitutional fetal person amendments, but leading anti-abortion groups generally did not support them, worrying that the Supreme Court would not uphold them, and one by one they went down in defeat, even in deeply conservative Mississippi. To many, that made it seem that there was a split within the anti-abortion movement, with the mainstream focused on ending Roe v. Wade, and an extremist fetal personhood movement that wanted to go much further. Yeah. But any anti-abortion disagreement around prior personhood efforts has turned on strategy. If mainstream anti-abortion groups were relatively quiet about personhood in recent years, it wasn't necessarily because they believed that such efforts went too far. Rather, they saw a less conservative Supreme Court might invalidate them, or less socially conservative voters might reject them. When it comes to substance, fetal personhood has been the plan all along. The months and years ahead will be filled with uncertainty as anti-abortion leaders begin to work out the details on what personhood requires. New personhood proposals are often vague, with open questions about what will happen to access some types of birth control that abortion opponents falsely label as abortifacients, or to in vitro fertilization, or to women who could be punished for ending their pregnancy. In this climate of uncertainty, doctors, pharmacists, and other healthcare providers aware of the harsh punishment attached to abortion laws will have every reason to turn patients away. Yeah, I mean, it happened the moment the ruling dropped. The moment the ruling dropped, it had a massive chilling effect. Yeah. It's unclear how the fight for personhood will end. Some conservative states may not want to wade into the complexities of recognizing and enforcing personhood laws. A federal law banning abortion would likely require abolishing the filibuster and could be repealed when Democrats are in power again. And the political price of personhood might be just too high. In early August in Kansas, which Donald Trump won in 2020 by about 15 points, voters overwhelmingly choose to retain a state constitutional abortion right. Polls consistently show that most Americans do not support an absolute abortion ban, which much of the contemporary personhood movement demands. Exceptions or lives of the pregnant women are sometimes on the table. Sometimes. Nice. But given the erosion of democratic norms in the U.S., the lack of support for personhood may not matter as much as it ought to. In many states, this is a very good point. Like, make no mistake, if Republicans get any sort of power, they can and they will implement things like this. The Supreme Court makeup that is currently right now was possible because Republicans won presidential elections in which they lost the popular vote. On a different topic, did you see the NYT stuff on mental health in young people? They had a series of articles that previously and also a recent segment on the daily podcast. Might be worthwhile keeping an eye on the collated pages. I don't have access to Discord just now, or otherwise I would just put it there. Yeah, I gotta take a look at this. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna look at this. If you have a chance, you can post it in the Discord at a later time. I'm gonna keep this in my back pocket. In many states where the public doesn't support abortion bans, negative partisanship, the deep antipathy that people feel for the opposing political party means that many voters may not punish Republicans even for policies they don't agree with. Gerrymandering and burdens on the vote make it harder for those who oppose sweeping abortion bans to make themselves heard. A Republican president could lose the popular vote and impose some elements of personhood through executive order. That's right, and the Supreme Court may recognize personhood sometime down the road, no matter what voters think. Right, and the current composition of the Supreme Court, again, was only possible because Republicans somehow managed to win elections in which they did not get the popular vote. So, yeah. Many anti-abortion leaders claim to be originalists and argue that men who wrote the 14th Amendment in the 19th century thought of fetuses as rights-holding persons. Wait, how do you know this? But the success of a federal fetal personhood agenda would mean much more than another foray into history for conservative Supreme Court justices. Over half a century of struggle has forged a vision of personhood that will shape the lives of Americans for years to come. Yeah, like this is just ridiculous. The idea that fetuses should have personhood, it's just ridiculous. It's laughable. It's laughable on its face, right? All right, folks, let's switch gears really quickly. U.S. Justice Department says Trump team may have moved classified papers amid probe. The U.S. Justice Department said it had evidence that classified documents were deliberately concealed from the FBI when it tried to retrieve them in June from the former president's estate, prompting its unprecedented search of his home. Why do they keep using this word? Bro, if you do some sketchy shit that attracts the attention of the FBI, what did you expect was going to happen? In a 54-page filing, prosecutors on Tuesday laid out their evidence of obstruction of justice, alleging publicly for the first time that Trump aides both falsely certified in June that the former president had returned all the government records he had stored in his home after leaving the White House in January of 21. It also revealed that Trump's lawyers explicitly prohibited government personnel from opening or looking inside any of the boxes inside a storage room when FBI agents first traveled to his Palm Beach Mar-a-Lago resort in June to retrieve the records. The government also developed evidence that that government records were likely concealed and removed from the storage room, and that efforts were likely taken to obstruct the government's investigation, the department said in a filing in the U.S. District Court of Southern District Court of Florida. So, in other words, the walls seem to be closing in just a little bit more. What this is suggesting is that this dude was told repeatedly that he had documents in his possession that were not his, and that in fact he needed to return. He returned some of the documents, and well, they came back and said, well, some of them are missing. And he said, okay, here we go. Gave him some documents, but it seems like there was some obstruction or attempt to hide certain documents, which would be interesting to find out what, at least the general idea of what. Like, was it like a top secret document? In which case, like, questions about what he was doing with those documents, why he felt the need to make that directive to his aides to not allow law enforcement, to not allow the FBI to obtain those, up to and including moving those documents in an attempt to hide them. And then we have, again, supposed evidence that the people, his aides, his people, lied and said that, yeah, you know, all the documents have been turned over when in fact they haven't been. This happened in June. So not gonna say he's effed, but he's effed. I mean, in a world where we would see consequences, I would agree. Have you seen his descent into madness on True Social? No, I haven't really checked. Like, I've seen like a couple of things, but is there a way I can look at his stuff without signing up? Is there a way? Can we get a link to that? Or let's see if I can find it. Oh, wait. There's some TikTok users and Twitter accounts that are following it. I get my updates from Under the Desk News on TikTok. Listen, I need to become like that, okay? You should follow me on TikTok. I need to become like that. He's reposting or retruthing whatever. Some just wild stuff. The same handle on TikTok? That's right. He's retruthing Ivanka Trump's anti-vax rhetoric. Biden and his administration are still trying to manipulate you with these useless vaccines. Don't fall for his lies. It's over. Pandemic's over because I, Ivanka Trump, have declared. He's trying to ban our book that we approved because he is scared that you might find out the truth and the solution. Oh, shit. The truth and the what? The solution? What What? What solution, my friend? With this book, you can become your own doctor and cure yourself naturally. Oh, I see. I see. So she's promoting some bullshit. I hope it won't be too late. God bless you and all. Take care. Okay. I found you. Thank you. Baby boy Trump also lost his shit all this week. Yeah, the laws seem to be closing in. Tuesday Morning Post, seeing spree, Trump retweeted the text of a message from the Q conspiracy. Claiming to be a high-ranking official with Q-level security clearance whose adherents believe that Trump will save America from the cabal of satanic worshipping pedophiles. Trump has thrown red meat at QAnoners, believers whose based in the past. The signs and slogans of the conspiracy are not uncommon sight. At Trump rallies and events, the former president refused on multiple occasions to denounce QAnon, which has been deemed a potential terror threat. As recently as earlier this month, Trump posted a video of himself to Truth Social that featured a song affiliated with QAnon. I see. Yeah, this guy's losing it. This is indistinguishable from like someone who has just gone off the rails. The good old days? What? I'm pretty sure during Trump's presidency, gas was not this low, okay? I'm just saying. Hey, Echo Wrestler Dragon. FBI has advanced this fact even further. Not really. It's a picture of him saying Trump won. Wow. Amazing. Another meme of himself. Fake news, I guess. Retruthing another meme. More election denial. Another meme, I guess. Another meme. A Breitbart post of wow, the FBI doesn't even deny it. FBI does not deny it. Warned Facebook of Russia propaganda in 2020. Yeah. Okay. And The FBI interfered in the election and put the people who protested it on January 6th in prison? No. The FBI. What? Okay. Okay. Take back our country from those that hate it. That seems a bit stochastic. Gas wasn't that low. I remember it being pretty low during Obama, though. True. Whose Twitter is this? Unfortunately, this is Trump's truth, I guess. This is just completely off the rails. That seems like a call to action, a call to violence. Ultra Republican is where we need to be and win. Donald Trump is still your president. No, not really. Not nice. It's just memes now, huh? Yeah, kind of. Kind of. If this wasn't like the leader of the Republican Party. Presidential Records Act was fully adhered by me, not by the FBI. The FBI doesn't have to adhere by Presidential Records Act by definition in name. It's called Presidential Records, not FBI Records Act. They executed a lawful search warrant on my home. Agents in charge was just walked out by the FBI headquarters buildings for wrongdoing. No idea if that's true. He was also involved in the 2020 election hoax. No, didn't happen. The crime of the century. Nope, also didn't happen. Posting a meme. We got Trump this time. Russiagate, Impeachment 1, Bountygate, Impeachment 2, the Mueller investigation, and January 6th, the Mar-a-Lago search warrant. And the point that I have countered with this is even if all these things are completely irrelevant, impeachments, nothing to do with criminal investigations. The Mueller investigation, I don't think that was criminal either. Russiagate did produce a lot of indictments and convictions. But even if none of those have nothing to do with what's going on now, this is a completely different scenario. President Trump represents the first true political outsider. What? This is completely divorced from reality. Donald Trump was way involved in politics for a very long time. He was a big donor to the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. His 2016 victory was an unprecedented pushback by the common men and women of America against the long-established status quo of DC swamp creatures. But he is the swamp. He's probably one of the biggest ones. Who have long enjoyed skimming the U.S. taxpayer out of tens of millions and pocketing for themselves a year after... Yeah, Trump. Trump. Yeah. Like Trump. I gotta go. I gotta go be mom, and my dog is getting mad. We're not cuddling on the couch. It was good to catch you. No problem. Thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate that, and thank you so much for the support. No. This what? Yeah, this makes sense. Wait, is this not ironic? This is the first coherent meme I've seen. Is there anything else? This is the most coherent meme. Yeah, the Republican Party told you to reject the evidence of your eyes and ears. It was their final, most essential command. Yeah. Don't look at what's going on here. Don't look into all the investigations and criminality of Trump. Don't look into the multiple attempts to subvert democracy. Don't look into the Republican Party's multi-state schemes to force or to inject fake electors into the electoral college to overturn the election results. No, don't. Never mind the umpteenth amount of lies that Donald Trump has told. This is wild. Is this unironic? Did this one just go over their heads or what? $81 million votes, and I've never seen a pro-Biden hat, shirt, or flag in my life. Imagine thinking that that's how elections are won. Imagine thinking that, like, what if you live in, like, the most conservative area? Do you just believe that a president wins by the amount of flags you see on the lawns of people who agree with you? Like, is that how you make the logical determination? Oh, wait, we got some anti-Semitism in here. Yeah, we've got Donald Trump, I guess, retruthing some little bit of JQ in there. So these Twitter posts thinks Biden should be worshipped, otherwise Trump wins. No, the George Orwell post, I don't know what they were trying to prove with that, or if it was unironic, or did it go over their heads. But the way I interpreted it is like, yeah, the Republican Party is basically INCSOC. That's exactly correct. The Republican Party is basically INCSOC. Here we have a little bit of anti-Semitism posted by Donald Trump. Well, I wonder if we can now put the statement. There was some very fine people on both sides. We can now put some little more context to that statement now. Now going after their own Republican Party members, rhinos are now identified as undocumented Democrats, of course. We'll sprinkle in a little xenophobia. Elections are won by votes, and popular and more importantly, electoral votes in America. Yeah, well, yeah, but they don't forget. They're making an active. Republicans are making an active effort to subvert that process. That's the whole goal. They don't care about democracy or elections. They're not interested in that. Um, yeah, no concept of how this works at all. We have no other choice. We are losing America. Like, this language is incredibly inflammatory. This is stochastic terrorism right here. This is stochastic terrorism. Believe it. Like, he's retweeting with the retruthing whatever to a bunch of his supporters. Like, the core of the core of the core. That's where they live. They live in Truth Social. He's tweeting, "We have no other choice. We're losing America," underneath a picture of him saying, "Believe in something," meaning him, even if it means sacrificing everything. By the way, not a cult. Not a cult. Again, this incorrect meme. Things that didn't happen. They banned a sitting president from social media, impeached him twice because he deserved it, jailed his supporters because they were insurrectionists, and then executed a search warrant because they had probable cause that he was there was probable cause to start an investigation on potential crimes. Yes. And then they go on TV and call us the fascists. Yeah, you are. Yes. If not evidenced by the previous post. Donald Trump, you want sacrifice work, another government job besides running for president if you really care? No, please. No. No. Just go away. That's what I would tell him. Just go away. Here's another call to action right here. True, but it will all be worth it for our country in the end. That's a call to action. He had everything and he chose us. Not a cult. Good one. Nice. Good one. More election conspiratory stuff. Anyways, nice. Full-on meltdown. Posting indistinguishable from like a milquetoast 4chan post, like a milquetoast 4chan like pool user. Yeah, this is just ridiculous. Complete and total meltdown. QAnon forums are obviously ecstatic and bloodthirsty after Trump's Q-endorsing tweet storm this morning. They've been relatively dead in the last few months. Sorry about that. With users headed over to general Trump forums and militia/Q influencers on Telegram. Not anymore. Yeah, this is wild. Incredible that this is the former president of the United States. Unbelievable. It released the photographs of some of the records found inside Trump's home bearing classification markings, some of which refer to clandestine human sources. The Justice Department's filings come ahead of a Thursday court hearing before the U.S. District Judge Eileen Cannon in West Palm Beach. She's weighing Trump's request to appoint a special master who would conduct a privileged review of the documents seized from Mar-a-Lago on August 8th, many of which are labeled classified. A special master is an independent third party and sometimes appointed by a court in sensitive cases to review materials potentially covered by attorney-client privilege to ensure investigators do not improperly view them. A special master was appointed, for instance, in the search of the homes and offices of two Trump's former attorneys, Rudy Giuliani and Michael Cohen. In Trump's initial request to the court, his attorneys claimed that the former president wanted to protect materials that were subject to a legal doctrine known as executive privilege, which can shield some presidential communications. Legal experts called the argument into question, saying it was illogical for a former president to claim he wanted to assert executive privilege against the executive branch itself. Trump's legal team later narrowed its request, asking for a privilege review without explicitly referring to executive privilege. The Justice Department on Tuesday said it opposed the appointment of a special master. Trump prosecutors argued lacks standing on the case because the records do not belong to him. The August search of Trump's home was a significant escalation as one of several federal and state investigations. Trump is facing. Doesn't he have to be president to call privilege? Yeah. In a redacted affidavit underpinning the search released publicly by the department last week, an unidentified FBI agent said the agency reviewed and identified 184 documents bearing classification markings after Trump in January returned 15 boxes of government records sought by the U.S. National Archives. After the National Archives discovered the classified materials, some of which pertain to intelligence gatherings and clandestine human sources, it referred the matter to the FBI. The Justice Department said on Tuesday it tried multiple times to get all the records back, but ultimately it developed evidence to suggest more materials remain at Mar-a-Lago and had been hidden from investigators, which it seems to be the case because the aide who signed off this, I guess several aides, I imagine, who signed off on documents stating that they had returned all the documents, seems to contradict what they found, obviously. FBI subsequently carted away 33 additional boxes and other items in its August 8th search, some of which were marked as top secret, the classification level reserved for the country's most closely held secrets. Trump's defenses for why he retained the materials have shifted he has not offered a reason why he didn't give all the records back. He previously claimed that he declassified all the records, pointing to a president's broad declassification powers. Again, regardless, whether they were declassified or not is irrelevant. However, Tuesday's filing by the government denied this. When producing the documents, neither counsel nor the custodian asserted that the former president had declassified the documents or asserted any claim of executive privilege. They also noted that when Jay Brett, the head of the Justice Department's Counterintelligence Division, visited Mar-a-Lago with 3 agents in June to recover additional records, Trump's attorney handed over records in a manner that suggested the counsel believed that the documents were classified by producing them in a red-welled envelope that was double-wrapped in tape. Inside the envelope, the department said that there were 38 unique documents with classification markings, 17 of which were top secret and 16 of which were secret, and 5 were marked as confidential. Yeah, it seems like the walls continue to close in and more information has come out to suggest that, there may be some evidence pointing to a willful obfuscation of these very sensitive classified documents. Unbelievable. So Trump's title and privilege is for how long? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how that works. All right, so we've got a few things to go through. So we're gonna have to power. We're gonna have to power through these. John Eastman takes the fifth before Georgia grand jury and election interference probe. A lawyer who has pushed to overturn the 2020 election loss of then President Trump invokes his Fifth Amendment against self-incrimination and refusing to answer questions during an appearance on Wednesday today before a grand jury in Georgia. John Eastman also invokes protections under attorney-client privilege in refusing to answer at least some questions he was asked before the grand jury, which was convened in part of a criminal probe into the possibility of illegal interference in Georgia's presidential election contest, his attorney said. Eastman is one of the group of Trump allies who were subpoenaed by the panel, which is hearing testimony in Atlanta. A second ally, Trump's former personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, has been named a target in the investigation and has recently testified before the same grand jury. Eastman wrote a series of memos in the 2020 election calling on then Vice President Mike Pence to effectively undo President Joe Biden's win by refusing to certify the Electoral College results, which he cannot do. Yeah. In his appearance before the Fulton County Special Grand Jury, we advise our client John Eastman to assert attorney-client privilege and constitutional right to remain silent where appropriate. Eastman lawyers Charles Brunham and Harvey Silverglate said in a statement, "Out of respect of the grand jury's secrecy, will not disclose the substance of the questions or testimony. We wish to thank the grand jurors for their service." The statement also blasted Fulton County District Attorney Fannie Willis for the probe itself. By all indications, the District Attorney's Office has set itself on an unprecedented path of criminalizing controversial or disfavored legal theories, possibly in hopes that the federal government will follow its lead. Nah, it's more than that. It's more than that. Criminalization of unpopular legal theories is against every American tradition that would have ended careers of John Adams, Ruth Ginsburg, and Thurgood Marshall, and many other now celebrated American lawyers. I'm sorry. Hold on. Were any of these people advocating like a complete turnaround of like the process of the way our system works? The way in specific, the way our electoral system works, the way essentially our democratic process works? I'm sorry. Like, unpopular legal theories like, I don't know, women should have equal protection under the law and women and men should be viewed the same under the law, is not the same as, you know, we can finagle results and we can kind of play around with the system that determines elections, you know? What? No, that's not how this works. That's not remotely the same. Adams said the second, Thurgood Marshall now celebrated American lawyers. Adams was the second president of the U.S., while Ginsburg and Marshall were Supreme Court justices who helped establish new legal precedents with their work during the Civil Rights Movement. Yeah, nothing to do with finagling our electoral systems. We ask all interested observers of any political persuasion to join us in decrying this troubling development. Eastman last month revealed that his cell phone was seized by the federal agents who stopped him in New Mexico and forced him to unlock it. That seizure was done as part of an investigation by the Justice Department's internal watchdog, the Office of Inspector General. The IG's office is probing the role of the Justice Department and its components in preparing for and responding to the January 6th riot at the U.S. Capitol by Trump supporters, according to the office website. That insurrection occurred as a joint session of Congress convened to certify Biden's victory, with Pence presiding over the proceedings. A former Justice Department official, Jeffrey Clark, had electronics seized from his Virginia home on the same day that Eastman's phone was seized. Clark also backed Trump's effort to overturn the election. Trump considered installing Clark as Attorney General in the days leading up to January 6th, but dropped that idea after a group of top justice officials said they would resign in protest if that happened. Oh my god. All of this was just like banking on all of this like happened. It didn't happen because a couple of bureaucratic officials decided not to play ball in the specific like scenario, in the specific positions that they were in. That's it. That's literally it. Because if those people were completely on board, and if those people are completely willing to play ball with Trump, and Trump installs this attorney general who backs the idea of overturning a free and fair election, and then puts that idea out there, a literal attorney general of the United States, the top cop, I should say, saying that there are inconsistencies without evidence. That's just wild. What do you think about Trump? He's a piece of shit. Because he's a piece of shit. It's the most flawless argument, dude. How could you argue against it? I'm glad you recognize it. So, just take that in for a second. Maybe one day you'll be able to transcend your I don't know what that word means. Phantasms? Somehow that doesn't surprise me. Why are you here, dude? I swear. If you don't understand why Trump is bad, then I don't know what to tell you. It should be fairly obvious. He must be a billionaire. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Anyways, like the idea, the concept, the idea that this could have gone a whole different way. The idea that this could have gone a whole different way is terrifying. It is so logical that there's no argument for it. I have no idea what you're talking about, dude. I don't even know why you're here. The idea that the only reason that this clown didn't get installed by Trump was because some bureaucrats in the right positions threatened to resign in protest is just wild to me. Because it could have very well been a scenario where these people decide to play ball and Trump installs this anti-democratic attorney general. The attorney general makes a statement and has the public believing that there is a shred of legitimacy to the conspiracy theories that that there's somehow some type of election fraud enough to overturn the results. That is incredibly dangerous. Not to mention, like the idea that Mike Pence had any type of power to overturn the results of the election or reject the electoral votes. The idea that the Republican Party colluded in multiple states to send in fake electors, or as they called it, their words, not mine, alternative electors, in an attempt to subvert a fair and free election. And that's not like the wall-to-wall coverage is just wild to me. It's just wild to me. Our whatever semblance of democratic systems that we have held up together by magic and luck. That's what that's it. By magic and luck. Jesus. Listen, I saw Tim Pool's new single. I don't believe that statement anymore. Okay, Pirate Ninja, I retract that belief. Okay, I used to love alternative music. Okay, it's a guilty pleasure. Okay, it's a guilty pleasure from the 2000s, and then Tim Pool ruined it. Okay, you can blame him now. Oh, I will. Listen, as a musician, okay? It's really not that compelling. Just to take like an objective view on the song, it's like a cookie cutter, it's like a cookie cutter single. It doesn't really stand out, nor does it really like, because music is, to me at least, music is supposed to make you feel a type of way, right? Sometimes it makes you feel amped. Sometimes it makes you feel sad. Sometimes it makes you reminisce of a memory or something like that, right? No, not with cookie cutter music. And by cookie cutter music, I mean like it's generic, right? That's what it feels like. All right, we've got 2 headlines. I think we can make it. Democracy has been a project that has disappointed us all. Every ideology appeals to the majority as a sign of truth, but nothing is more false than that of the majority. I have no idea what this means. Okay, this is actually gobbledygook, right? Because while democracy has its flaws, it's the best system that we've got. And you're conflating that with like an attempt to make some argument of like what appeal to what's the ad populum fallacy, but that doesn't really play out in the way we have our system set up. Way too angsty for someone in Tim's hot tub age. It would make sense if you were a teen. Yeah, because you could tell like the emotion. There's emotion behind the music, even if you don't like the genres. There's emotion behind music, whether it's rap, different styles of rap and hip hop, different styles of rock. All of these things have, at the end of the day, some type of like passion or feeling or something like a drive behind them, right? Even if you don't like the genre, you can tell that this person is trying to tell you something. But whatever, that's neither here nor there. Tribalism was the best system. You mean like federalism? But federalism also requires a democratic process. Democracy. Fucking clown. The McDonald's U.S. head says California fast food bill unfairly targets big chains. Boo-hoo. The head of McDonald's on Wednesday publicly criticized a landmark California bill that would give the state more control over the pay of fast food workers, which we went over yesterday, saying it unfairly targets big chains. Yeah, don't care. Tribalism isn't federalism, clown. Okay, so explain it to me. You got like 5 seconds before I have to get out of here. You've got like 5 seconds before I have to leave. Let's go. Proponents of the bill say it will empower fast food workers and help solve the industry problems such as unsafe working conditions and wage theft. Yeah, imagine being like against this. Tribalism is xenophobia on crack. Let them explain it to me. I want to hear it. I want to hear it. Come on, tell me. You're not explaining. None of those 2 comments that you've made in the time I've given you are explaining what you mean. Let's go. Yeah, so imagine a big corporation being against being against a bill that will empower workers and attempt to address unsafe working conditions and wage theft. Okay, you obviously don't understand hyperbole. If you can't explain to me what you mean, what your political ideology or theory is, in a way that a general public could understand, then I don't really have to care what you have to say. If you can't explain to me what you're talking about, why are you even here? Tribes are the same as race. Oh, so you're like a race realist. Why are you here? This is my channel. If you want to be like a race realist, go make your own channel. It imposes higher costs on one type of restaurant while sparing another, even if it's true that those 2 restaurants have the same revenue and same amount of employees. Blah, 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 blah. This is a pity party McDonald's is trying to roll out here. And of course, the National Restaurant Association spent $140,000 to fight this bill. Anyways, good memes. McDonald's, get effed. A week-long heat wave in California and other western states will test the power grid, as of course, back-to-back long intensive heat waves continue to be a thing, only exacerbated by climate change. We'll continue to report on this as it comes. I can imagine that cynicism, it's a hard to taste without tonality, but my writing normally makes this clear in vain. Yeah, you're some type of like race realist. Gotcha. No problem, dude. Yeah, you can go spread your bullshit about how like the tribes being like the tribes equaling races are all gonna kumbaya, and somehow like your scenario isn't going to involve some type of violence, because that's usually what it leads to when you break it down and when you start asking a lot of questions and when you deep dive. It doesn't take long. But yeah, you can take that. You can take that somewhere else. But how do you propose the groups of your tribalism paradise be separated? Yeah, they prefer race, and I'm pretty sure that a specific race will have priority. That's usually how these people think. Yeah, it boils down to bigotry. It's like you gotta find some fancy new ways of like writing out bigotry and xenophobia. I'm a tribalist. Okay, dude. Anyways, folks, I do gotta get going. If you guys enjoy the content, don't forget to hit the follow button. Make sure you head on over to the YouTubes. Hit the subscribe button. It does really help us out. Spread the word far and wide that this is the chillest place to be for news and politics Monday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Join us on Sundays around noon Eastern Time. If you hit the follow button, you get 5 free emotes, including Bakita the cat. So don't miss out on that, yeah? All right, folks, I got to get out of here. As always, Please stay safe. Please take care of each other. I love y'all, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. See ya. You have a good one. You have a good one, Pirate Ninja. Thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you for the subs, the biddies, the follows, all of that. All right, folks, we're heading out. Let's go hang out with James from the internet. We're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See ya.